And for this evening, the government is set to ask the private sector to substantially step up hiring of apprentices on the shop floor to help India meet the skills deficit. In an interview with me, Skills Development Minister Rajiv Pratap Rudy said that the government wants a minimum of 2.5% or 2.5% of total private sector workforce to be comprising of apprentices, up to a maximum of 10%. He also said that the first meeting of the PM-led Governing Council on Skills, that also remember includes Cyrus Mistry and Sachin Bansal as members, will be meeting next week, that is on the 2nd of June. Here's a slice of that conversation. As per this Skill India mission that you unveiled last year, you've said that 300 million people you will train, or at least you'll provide institutional capacity to train 300 million people by the year 2022. Many have said that this is a very ambitious target.
This has remained, and this is a target which is actually very ambitious. But prior to me coming, this language was already positioned that we have trained 400 million people or so. And when they say 400 million people or 500 million people, they basically talk about the people in the unorganized sector. And when you talk about the unorganized sector, which is about 54–56% in the farm sector and the rest in overall other sectors. Now, even if we are talking about these numbers, even if we leave farm sector, which also requires a lot of skill, which already is a skilled workforce to a certain extent, we have another 250 million people who are not in the agriculture sector. So to identify them, to mobilize them, and this could include anyone. It could include those people who are illiterates, those who are dropouts, those who are educated but unemployed, those who are ITI pass outs but unemployed, the engineering. So we have a huge demand for the workforce which needs to be skilled to the entry-level jobs. You see, the demand is not for high-end jobs. The demand is for, the industry has been craving and saying that, look, we do not have the actual manpower at the entry level. And that's why when you say we don't have plumbers, we don't have mason, we don't have this, we don't have X, Y, and Z, it's basically the entry-level jobs. It never became aspirational. And I said, you don't have professor of welding or professor of, you still call a tailor, you do not call him a fashion designer. So the definitions are
loose and vague and not very...
But the Prime Minister has given a focus to it now, and he said that the language of skills should be refined. We need to partner with the states. The states should also align themselves to the NSQF so that the whole ecosystem of employment. You see, policies can be made at the center, but implementation has to be done by the states. And some of the states are surging, some of the states are slightly not.
You actually preempted my question there, sir, because your success, your ministry's success, it invariably depends on how your other stakeholders are doing. Because I think somebody told me there are 70 different kinds of schemes right now as when it comes to, when it comes to skills.
The Prime Minister has given clear, it's there. Because what do these sectors do? If there is no apex or a nodal ministry, they have to provide that manpower. So if it is textiles or if it is, for that matter, leather, they will not wait for the skill ministry. They have to do some training. But there were many more sectors which wanted to do, and there were possibly 70-odd schemes in 24-odd ministries, and this was not only true for the center. It was also true for the states. Although all the states have created a skill mission, Central has also converged it. And
all states have done it, sir? No.
Majority of them have moved in that direction. Some have constituted these missions but not operationalized. Some have, like Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Kerala, Maharashtra, they have moved ahead, even UP for that matter. So we'll have to admit that some states have started working in those directions. India is huge, and policy level to bring people, and the states the states have to align themselves. So, but the states are responding very well. Even the subgroup created by the Prime Minister and the Niti Aayog of the Chief Minister headed by Prakash Singh Badal talked of many of these things. And the President always in his annual Governor's Review. So every stage skill is being addressed. It's the ingredients of skills, even nationally, internationally, mapping it, identifying the skill gaps, progressing it to the standards of international level, both in the space of grant model where those who cannot afford have to be done through the National Skill Development Corporation, and those who can afford it, because out of every 100 people who have to be trained today, 70 have to be paid for, 30 can pay for themselves. So that gives us a huge responsibility, because what we missed over the years in 67 years was that skills should have been integral part of education. I have been saying it, and I think the Honorable Minister of HRD Smriti Irani has also been cooperating with me, that education had a bias against skills. So all those who became important like you and me were educated. We were never skilled. And that those who ruled the system were educated people. And skill was left embedded inside education. So it never found that space. By extracting itself, maybe after a decade or so, we can bring them together, because in the school education, skills should have been there from day one in last year. It has been talked about, but it actually did not take off.
Are you in touch with the HRD Ministry,
yes,
sir, in trying to address this issue?
They are absolutely aware. Okay. They are absolutely aware, and they are working in sync with the Ministry of Skill Development. So I am absolutely very happy that at least for the first time, an HRD minister who has come in this country has, apart from having a huge domain of education, has appreciated how skill is so important in education.
And soon we may have skills being part of the curriculum.
It's been made. It's not yet become very popular, but it's been made. The roadmap. Now, so far in ITIs, which is the largest manpower created in the, after +2, it is not recognizable for admission in any school or college.
Right.
Doors are closed. Now we are, for the credit framework, even a +2, a 10th dropout who has an ITI or a 12th pass out of an ITI can pursue his higher studies with this equivalent qualifications. We have amended the rules. So we are creating pathways for technical manpower to have an aspirational role with education.
Right. So why hasn't the Governing Council met so far? When will we expect the first meeting of the Governing Council that will be chaired by the Prime Minister?
The Prime Minister is chairing the first mission meet on 2nd of June. So we are already, because there was a time.
What will be on
the whole agenda, the whole review of the, because the National Skill Mission and the National Skill Policy and the Skill Mission which the Prime Minister launched, which includes several ingredients are there: state partnership, overseas employment, infrastructure, ecosystem, all that he would, the policy level which will actually proliferate into the whole system. So I think the first time any Prime Minister is heading a skill mission, which is a skill mission. So it's a big onus on me, and I'm very happy that the Prime Minister has reposed so much of faith in me. If I'm able to spell out the language of skill where the country understands, I think I've succeeded.
Are you hoping, sir, that the newer definition, of a more clearer definition of skills would be in place by the time the Governing Council meets?
It's this definition of skill is there.
Yeah, I know, but it's in the context
when someone from US comes, for him skill definition is not only hard skills or skills. For him, a lot of educational abilities are also skills.
Right.
So it's very difficult to say that this is exactly the definition of skill. So but what we understand in India is the entry-level skills, which makes your life and my life comfortable. The cameraman, the lightman, the man who drove your car to this place, the man who fixed up your suit this morning, and someone who cooked some food in your kitchen. So all those who make your life comfortable are those who actually are the skilled manpower, and their worth is much more than what they are actually offering. So we have actually lost focus.
Absolutely, sir. So fair enough. A few more points, sir. The role of the industry, because now the issue is that, at least an allegation is that industry is still willing to go in for relatively unskilled workers because they come at a much, they're far cheaper.
So this is
Does
something.
that concern you, sir?
Well,
especially when industry is saying we don't have skilled workforce.
You see, this is demand and supply. So you have to look at what economics you're talking about, and if there is a higher demand for skilled manpower, then they have a cost for it, and then they can, if there is high skills which is required, then you pay them accordingly. But if the numbers are there and your quality of skills is less, then actually it aggregates to a lower wage salary. So this is an issue. But you see, for us, there are millions in this country who are in the wage group of 2,000 to 3,000 rupees. 10 years of school education is very important. 12 years of school education is very important, or for that matter, 8. But 10 years of school education may not make you employable, or 12 years of school education may not make you employable. With 10 years of school education, with 10 weeks of training, or 12 years of school education will make you employable. And if a wage goes up from 3,000 rupees or 4,000 to 15,000 rupees, that is a remarkable achievement. Now, demand and supply will always work. And honing skills, a driver who drives a car maybe in a district headquarters like Chapla would get paid differently from those who drives a car in Delhi. And if he speaks English, then possibly he will be picked up by a 5-star hotel and his wage salary would be different. So skills could be even language. Speaking English is a skill, and makes you employable. So to define skills and your employability is a very progressive mechanism.
Well, important takeaways there from Rajiv Pratap Rudy, the Skill Development Minister, saying that the industry will be asked to step up hiring of the apprentices on the shop floor, minimum of 2.5% of their workforce. That can go up to 10%. And also the fact that the government is now mulling redefining skills, because they feel that a 4% skilled workforce, which is what the official numbers in the government data suggest, so that might be far too low because it may not be capturing different kinds of India-specific skills. So that process is on with the NSSO. It's time for a break now here on The Big Picture at 10, but on the other side, United States has lifted the arms embargo.